Okay, so again, the confusion on this part is basically the index page, because this is where we display the products, right? But we changed it from our drop down from the category. So this ID is coming from that there. So if you wanted to have a different view for that particular search box, then we have to create another action result, not touching the index.
Okay.
And we just copy the code again and just change a bit. Okay? Ken?
But we will create same page like it was
Yeah, it
before.
will be on the same page, just like before one. Okay? Ken? So from here, the second step actually is to create, before the child action, is to create, this one is coming from your web programming actually notes, is to create the index, not index, is to create another view for your search. So that other view will be from here under the add view here, because it's empty, right? So in here, I will now do a listing. This is the answer now for that question that I will not touch the index page. I will just have to have another view for the search alone. So I will use the search from the HTTP GET, and then of course I will tie up with my model, which is a book, and then after that click add. I mean, it will just generate a listing. Just to cross-reference it, is actually on page 15 of lesson 6 in web programming. Okay, so that one. Okay, Ken, got it. So we'll just keep on, we wait for it to be loaded. So here, we just remove the create because you are not going to create. It's just a display of the products, right? So we can have like a little bit of a space because it will stick onto the roof of the menu. And remember this image URL, right? If you don't want to follow the name on the table, I mean, this one is coming from the field. It will get really the field. So if you do a alias, so you can just have book, or you can just say title. You don't have to need, I mean, like image. You don't have to name, or you don't have to fetch the name of the database. That's very dangerous actually, because they will guess what is the field name in the database. Okay, so author name, or just say author. You can use an alias for it any way you want it to. And in here, because this is basically a URL, right? Remember the image source? We want to display the image source, right? So we can replace it with the source tag. Again, I normally get the controller so that I can get this one. So it's actually under content, then images. Is it? Let me check first. Under content. Oh, there's no images on my content.
Maybe it's higher in our course.
No, it's supposed to have. Yeah, wait, huh? Let me check first on the repos for this file. So if there's images, because last time we do have this. Yeah, there is images. Yep. Images and then book img. So images and then book img slash at item dot book image URL, because I have subfolder inside it. So I'm fetching it from the subfolder part. Can? So we cannot test it yet because it's a partial view, right? So in here, I will just remove. Normally, I will use a button, add to cart, whatever. So there could be a button here saying that you want to add it into the cart. If you want it like tabular display, huh? But if you want it to have a thumbnail, then the button should be inside the thumbnail bootstrap. Okay, so something like that. Normally they use red color for add to cart. Huh? Add to cart. BTN, I'll just MD. Okay, so that section there. Okay, so this would be intended for the search item. Okay, and then the other view that you have to create is for your partial view. Okay, right click, add view. Again, remember what to do if it's a partial view.
List all items.
We can use a list all items, but I want to use it as an empty. But since we wanted to get the name of the model, right? So we can use a list because I want to get the book model name, so I don't have to type it because there is a possibility of errors there if you don't memorize it. And you have to remember that you have to check create as a partial view. This is a very important thing. If you didn't check it, then it will not have. Okay? It will be an error as it execute the process. Again, cross-reference into your page 17 of web programming lesson. Again, page 17 of web programming lesson. Okay? So same thing goes. Once I have once I am in my partial view, once I am in my partial view, I'm actually going to remove this one. I don't need it. Yeah. What I only need is this name. It will tend to enumerate that one. So I actually don't need the rest of the coding there. So basically, what I have to do is there are two ways. You can use a HTML helper, but the design is not so nice because the HTML helper is just a default design um, from Visual Studio. But anyway, we can use it. So remember this syntax at using, and then we use a HTML begin form. You want to begin the form because you need to fill up in there. So begin form. After that, what you need to call from here, you notice it's supposed to be your search. Search without the underscore. Because that search without the underscore is actually referring, it actually renders the partial view.
It's new.
You,
It's new name created now. New variable name created now.
this one?
Yes, it's new parameter.
No, you are actually referring it from this one here.
Okay.
Because you want to tell your browser, hey, when you start to initiate, refer to that action. Okay, so that action here from sorry, not index, from your search partial view is from your action result in book controller. So second thing is your controller name. So the controller name is books, right? And then the third thing that you want to do is to basically use the form method because you are posting, you're filling it up. So form method dot post. So when you say form method dot post, after you fill up, it will be calling the HTTP post. You know what I meant? So the begin form is from your search, which is your partial view, which refers to a partial view. If you want, you can refer it directly with the partial view, but I did this one before. The tendency is there is some underlying issues I have to see first. So that's why I'm teaching you in a two ways. Once I find out what happened in that, then I will discuss it to you. Okay? So search here, and then after that, your design, because search box. So you can use a HTML at HTML helper, then you can have text box. And then you can refer it as your, again, this variable name, search item, should be the same content there. Meaning to say the ID for this one is this. So that when you input something there and when you click the submit, then it will pass that search item. Okay? So next tab is basically an input type. Sorry. Input type, I'll just make it as a submit, and then value is basically search. Search simple. Search. Okay? If you want, you can place it on a div just to have it like a one div or a p tag. It's up to you. A p tag would be simpler, but it doesn't matter where. Just a container for this one. Because remember, in your WMD, if it's a group of forms or text box, you have to have a container for it. You can apply a jQuery in it later on. You know what I meant. So now, once done, we want to add this one. We want to add this in our menu. You know what I meant. So we have to go to our shared folder and then layout. And then from the layout, we have a different role here, right? Remember? So if it's a normal, not a user, we can make it outside of those role, right?
But it should be for everyone, right?
Yeah, for everyone. That's why it should be outside of the role. Sorry, it's supposed to be because it's a partial view, right? Remember this syntax? Sorry, HTML render action, right? It's not action link, correct? And then from here, you have to call your partial view.
But that will be print without underline, underscore.
With underscore. Because we have to display this design. Actually, we have to display the partial view design, not the full view. Because if you place the search there, then it will populate all the items, which is wrong, right? So it's the partial view. It's just the input box and then the text. So it's supposed to be displaying there on the menu these two things only. Okay, so that's why on your layout we need to call basically your search partial view. Okay, and then next, from where? It's from your books, right? So that's it. We're done with the search. So let's test. I hope I didn't miss anything while typing, because sometimes I don't memorize actually. So I look at the notes. Just give me a hint on something that I have to do.
Like run?
Yeah, it's running now. So we check whether all the components that we do there is really working perfectly as we wanted it to be. If the child actually has an error, then it will yield automatically. You cannot render it. I hope there is an error so that you can see how to correct it.
I hope there is no.
Why? Just wait for a bit.
Which book will be searched? Do you remember any name?
Uh,
Let's check what we have.
let's check what we have here.
We did add in database.
Yep, we can check it from our server here. What a good thing here is even if it's running, you can check on the database. I feel like there's an error. I feel like I missed out something, I think.
No, it's just running. That's what I learned.
We have Brida, Telltale, A Time to Kill, Accidental Heroes.
Have you ever read?
Yes,
Oh, really? Okay. Do you suggest to read it?
this is a Brazilian writer, Paulo Coelho.
Ah,
Yeah. Wow, it takes a long time. You see here? Yeah, that's why I'm saying it's a little bit odd design, you know. Yeah, because it's not layout. So let's say Brida. It should redirect to that particular search. Then it redirects. We didn't set the size here.
so big is nice.
It's a design is up to you, okay? Okay, telltale. I'll just have a tail here. See? It displays.
Okay, let's see something what does not exist.
Yeah, what it doesn't exist anything, right? Yeah. Sorcerer. See? It doesn't have a notification. So that's why if we have a L side, then you can notify.
Okay.
Can?